Good morning, everyone. Once again, this is Black Forest coming to you with another market analysis video. This morning, we're going to be looking at the JPY. But before we break down this chart and break down this currency pair, we have to state that this video is for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice, but we all know why you guys are here. You guys are here to find good, credible Forex content that can help improve your ability as a trader and to help put a little bit of extra money in your pocket, especially in these troubling times, okay? Why do the hard work? When we at Black Forex will do the hard work for you. All you got to do is like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe so you don't miss the notifications for when our videos drop, and also like and share so we can go ahead and get this content out to more traders so they can have good, credible content to make the best trading decisions as possible to stay constantly profitable. Because that's the goal with trading forex. You don't want to be profitable for a day or a week or two. You want to be consistently profitable through every day you trade. And that's the goal here. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and break down on this chart and this currency pair. Now, before we get to going into what is physically happening on the chart, we at Black Forex would like to get into the fundamentals of exactly what is happening with each country's currency. Okay, now with that, let's go ahead and get into the JPY because if you watch our videos, we talk about the USD quite a bit much, but it's okay for thoroughness. We're always going to cover the USD in each and every video. Okay. So with the JPY, we did not have a lot of news with the JPY coming out this week, so we're going to have to rely on the last time news came out about the JPY, which was on April 7th. We did have some good numbers coming out about the JPY, but these good economic numbers, these positive economic numbers are being overshadowed by the growing inflation that is being put upon the Japanese economy. So there's a dark cloud of growing inflation put upon the Japanese economy. And this is basically due to all the major world nations, especially all the major seven currencies that's traded by Forex traders. All these countries are basically suffering major inflation. It's really about how their government is dealing with it, is what cartels the inflation. Okay. And the Japanese government does not seem to be taking an active role in trying to combat inflation that is suffering upon their people and upon their economy. We thought they were going to because there was articles and news, economic news that came out that said they were going to get a lot more aggressive in taking care of that inflation, but it doesn't seem like they put the pedal to the metal as of yet. So we were coming into this beginning of this trading week looking like the Japanese yen was actually going to be one of our stronger currencies. But as we get into this mid part of our trading week, we are currently seeing that the Japanese yuan is actually one of our weaker currencies. Okay, it may be gaining some traction as of the beginning prior to New York with a little bit of strength probably against the more weaker currencies, but it is not picking up as much strength as I'm pretty sure the Japanese government and Japanese people would like. So it's still even though it's gaining strength, I think at the rate that it is gaining strength, because it's almost like it's gaining strength and then it will stop gaining strength and then it will stop. So at this stagnation in the strength, it's safe to say that the Japanese yen is actually one of our more weaker currencies coming into the midpoint in this trading week instead of one of our stronger currencies. Okay. So we're going to have to see how the Japanese government, what role that they take to try to combat the inflation to bring about strengthening the Japanese yen. Okay, now let us talk about the USD. Okay, so the USD has actually been doing pretty well coming into this beginning of this trading week, especially at the midpoint of this trading week. The USD and the last trading week had a lot of news come out about it. We had a lot more positive news than negative news, and we had some very strong initial job numbers that came out about the USD as well. So yesterday, also too, just prior to the opening of the New York session yesterday, around 8:30 Eastern time, we did have some CPI numbers come out about the USD as well. And based off these CPI numbers, it does truly look like inflation is hitting its peak and is starting to stagnate and shrink out. Okay. So we don't know how long this inflation is going to be. This dark cloud of inflation that's hanging over the American economy is going to shrink for. But as of right now, it's losing its traction. Now, the numbers were somewhat high, in which it showed that we had the highest inflation numbers since 40 years, but it was not as drastically high as it could have been. And based off the numbers, it did tick up some with the CPI, but based off the CPI numbers, it does look like it's telling us that inflation at this point is stagnating, looking to start shrinking into the next couple trading weeks to come. Okay. Now we did just have some news drop right now for the USD that comes out around 8:30. So we're gonna have to check that out to see how this is gonna go towards the strength or weakness going to the US dollar going into this trading day. And we had some very good news actually come out about the US dollar. TPI came out actually higher than it was previously, and higher than what they forecasted was going to be. And same thing with both of the news reports for the USD. So we're having a strength. We're still seeing, based off these news reports, we're seeing a further strengthening of the USD. Okay. So, with that said, now let's dive into the technical analysis of what's happening on the chart. And we can clearly see that the technical analysis is currently reflecting the current fundamentals. We have a strong USD and basically a stagnating JPY. Okay, so we're going up. We got down to this area here. We're going up, going up, going up, going up. Now we did break our recently last high, but we did not break that as aggressively. So that means that at some point in time, we are going to see a drop in price. Now we may see a little bit of push up, an extra 20 or 30 pips before we drop. But like I've said in previous videos, I would be very wary trading this currency pair because we're at like almost a 7-8 year all-time high, and I'm not the type of trader that's comfortable around trading things when they get to all-time highs and get to all-time lows, because usually that reversal comes in very aggressively. Okay, so we're at a point right here where at a 7-8 year all-time high, and as we can see, we did break, but we was not as aggressive. This up move is definitely not as aggressive as this up move right here. So basically what this is showing us is that this is starting to lose momentum, and eventually the larger players that are forcing to buy up are going to start pulling their money out sometime very, very soon. Which means we're going to see a drop in price. How far can price drop? It can drop here, 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 or even here. But if we start to drop to this area here, we're looking at turtle price over, and we're going to have to check the fundamentals to see what's going on. But being that the USD is picking up strength, let's look at this more from the short to intermediate term instead of from the long term. It may have a slight uptake in price or more before we start to have a drop to this area here, and drop to this area here, and drop to this area here before we start to range out. Once that range starts to come in, we have to check back to see what's going on with the fundamentals to see if we still have a strengthening USD and a stagnating or weakening JPY. Then it will be looking for a long position. But for right now, at some point in time, the shorts are going to start coming in. And how far can we drop? We can drop to here, here, or even here, or possibly even here. Okay? I hope that information was helpful for you guys. Happy trading.